All right, my name is Wayne Stein. I'm a professor in the English department, and I'm going to talk about mindfulness and martial arts. I've been doing martial arts ever since I was a little kid. I was born in Korea, raised in Japan. So even before Bruce Lee came out, I was doing kyokushin karate, and I really love martial arts. It's just something that once you start to practice, you need to practice a lot. When I was a little kid, Bruce Lee came out, and it's hard to explain Bruce Lee. Before Bruce Lee, the only action stars were people like John Wayne, Charlton Heston, Charles Bronson. These were the macho men of the days, but Bruce Lee was different. He didn't need a gun. He just used nunchucks. So when I saw Bruce Lee with his nunchucks, the very next day I made some nunchucks. You couldn't buy them back then. But Bruce Lee changed how I looked at life. He was exciting. He was something different. He's the first Asian American to become an international superstar. That is, he was born in San Francisco, and I grew up in California. It's important to understand in Los Angeles, there are a lot of gang members, and if gang people start to mess with you, you have to learn how to be relaxed because they want you to be scared. So breathing and mindfulness really helped me relax, because when they would try to mess with me and they saw that I was relaxed, they didn't know what to do because they wanted somebody who was scared or fearful, and I wasn't. Martial arts teaches you that. So I just want to say I wasn't prepared for the fact that Bruce Lee, mindfulness, martial arts really prepared me for the pain I went through chemo treatment. I still don't have my hair because it all fell out through chemo. It's hard to explain to somebody who hasn't been through chemo. Chemo in itself doesn't hurt. It's what happens after a couple of days later after the chemo, because chemo kills cancer cells, but it also kills good cells. So you have chemo mind, and your body just sort of starts to shut down. Again, the level of pain that I went through, I wasn't used to it. It was a lot of difficulty addressing that, because if you're going through pain, one of the things you don't think about is how am I going to survive this? Because you may become depressed, or you may become, very negative. But I try to stay above all that, and I try to use my mindfulness and the breathing techniques that I learned. For example, when you want to relax, what do they tell you? Breathe in deep, breathe in, breathe out. It actually does relax you. But martial arts, we practice deep breathing in a way that most people don't. That's how we operate when we do our training. You have to breathe in. The last thing you want to do in a workout is hold your breath, because if you hold your breath and you're not breathing, that's kind of what we do when we're nervous, but you can't do that. So you have to learn to breathe in a situation that's stressful. And even if you get hit and you're breathing out when you get hit, it hurts less. So you have to learn how to hold your breath. No, you have to learn how to breathe out and breathe in. So one of the techniques that we do is called reverse abdominal breathing. That means that when we breathe in, air occupies our chest. When we breathe out, our stomach gets bigger. And what happens is your diaphragm pushes down. So your lung capacities increase over time. So the more we train, the easier it becomes to do martial arts, because we've been practicing for a long time. And the secret is breathing. Breathing allows you to absorb pain in a way that most people don't understand. So reverse abdominal breathing. I went to Japan and trained under Kawanabe Sensei. He was a Shotokan person, but he had this breathing style that was just amazing. So I went just to train with him because he mastered it to a level that most people never do. So again, you breathe in, make your chest big. Breathe out, make your belly big. Breathe in, chest big. Out, belly big. Again, you're doing reverse abdominal breathing. We do it in kendo, which is sword fighting, and they learn to do multiple strikes with just one continuous long breath. So we learn how to breathe In, out. Again, it seems simple, but it's actually not. If you're sitting in a car driving, you can do it. When you're meditating, you can do it. So just deep breathing, mindful breathing can help you relax, because everybody deals with stress to a certain degree, in certain relationships, whatever. So by breathing in and breathe out, you gained a lot of control and you learned how to relax. And so when beginners start martial arts, I have to help them. Breathe, breathe, don't hold your breath. It's just a lot of work, but they get it after a while, and they become more relaxed, and they're able to understand martial arts. The next thing I want to talk about is mindful friendship. Let me get this going here. Okay, so again, Bruce Lee was my mindful hero. I just love Bruce. Mindful breathing, that looks kind of strange. You have a picture of a man who's pregnant, but it's Chinese alchemy. It's the ideas that you're going to give birth to yourself. So by changing who you are, you can gain another sort of consciousness. And then mindful friends. I had a strange phenomenon happen. It's called cancer ghosting. I didn't understand it, but I researched it, and like 65% of people who go through cancer experience this. People whom you consider your friends all of a sudden want nothing to do with you, or family members, they sort of ghost you, which doesn't make sense because you need their help, you need their support. This is Nalaka. He's from South Africa. I'm sort of his mentor. He worried about me going through cancer. He wanted me to do well. He didn't want to lose me because he had lost his parents. But unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, he didn't make it. He passed away. And so I feel sad that he was trying to help me and guide me, but yet he himself didn't make it, and other people I know didn't make it also. So I had these mindful friends who really, even strangers came out and said, I know you have cancer, I know you don't know me, but I want to help you, I want to support you. I was stunned, and when I was in the hospital, about 50 packages came. I was like, when they would deliver mail, it was like Santa delivering a lot of books and things. So I had a lot of people deliver things because they were worried about me in the hospital. Again, I didn't expect maybe 10 people send me something, but 50 packages. So I had a lot of mindful friends and people who tried to support me through cancer, and it really, really helped. That's Bruce Lee. He taught me the art of reading. Bruce Lee loved to read, so when I was in middle school and high school, I would read a lot. Again, I grew up in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles has these wonderful bookstores, used bookstores, at least they used to. And I would go and find these wonderful books about Asian culture, because I would read about Japanese authors or Chinese authors, and I would look for these books, maybe by the UCLA University. They would have some great books, and they had wonderful libraries. So I just spent a lot of times growing up reading because of Bruce Lee. You don't think of Bruce Lee as literacy person, but he loved to read. He loved to read so much that he would be stretching and reading at the same time, or he'd be reading and kicking at the same time. So Bruce Lee enjoyed reading so much that he had to cultivate a way of reading and exercising and reading and thinking. So it made me read a lot, and I still have thousands and thousands of books because of Bruce Lee and my joy of going to bookstores and finding things to read. The most important thing that I cultivated during my cancer treatments was positivity. Because if you're not positive and you're going through cancer, it's very easy to become distressed, it's very easy to become depressed and sad. You can easily fall in that path of negativity. So I made it a point to try to be positive, even though I didn't feel well, even though I was in the hospital, even though I was getting chemo treatment. A positive mind paid me back, because you need to stay positive. You need to believe that everything is going okay. That MD Anderson in Houston, they kept saying, this treatment may not work, so we're going to have the next treatment ready for you. So they were always planning on the next level of treatment. So they were preparing me for this because they found me at stage 4 cancer. I have lymphoma. It's a common sort of cancer, and yes, people usually survive lymphoma. But because I was stage 4, the cancer was very, very advanced, and they kept having to outsmart it. They started with 1 chemo treatment, then they did 2, then they did 3. They were doing 4 chemo treatments, including a spinal tap, which hurt. And so that really made me understand that I must stay positive. I must try to cultivate a different way of thinking. Again, when you're going through cancer, being positive isn't a good thing, or maybe you don't think it's possible, but it's because I did martial arts again in a situation where you have 3, 4, 5 people trying to run at you and hurt you in a fight. So martial arts teaches you you're going to win. No one's going to knock you down. There's not going to be any pain. The outcome will be in your favor. So martial arts taught me that not to fear fights, not to fear my opponents, and to become relaxed and into the moment and try to persevere. So cultivating the wisdom or the mandala of positivity is very, very important. And it's just something that, again, it didn't make sense. And people who knew me at the time when I was going through cancer were surprised that I was so positive and that I did believe I was going to be cancer-free. Because if I didn't believe it, who else is going to believe it? So you have to believe in yourself. You have to cultivate awareness of what you're doing. So again, being mindful of your surroundings, where you're at. When I was in Los Angeles, again, if I was walking down a street and I didn't like what I would see 6 people standing there, for some reason my gut feeling said, don't go towards those people, I would actually walk another block over and go down another street because I felt something wasn't right. So I've always looked at awareness, mindfulness, as a way of survival. You can't just trust everything's going to be okay. You have to take over. And I remember one time when I first got there in middle school, some people kicked me down a flight of steps. Anybody else would have had their arm broken, leg broken. I fell down because I did judo and jiu-jitsu. I knew how to fall. So I fell down off of, rolling through the steps. I just stood right back up and I looked at those people who pushed me down and I acted like nothing happened. And it sort of freaked them out because they were expecting me to have broken my leg or something, but I didn't. I was able to walk away because I practiced martial arts. And in martial arts, we practice the art of falling, the art of being hit, the art of being hurt. But that mindfulness works and helps people look at life at a different way. So it's important to see your environment. It's important to notice things that a lot of people don't notice because you are the person that can help yourself the best in a tight situation. Again, mindful positivity, mindful healing, mindful reading are all very important. I want to end again with Bruce Lee. I know I started with him, but Bruce Lee taught me that if you train hard and you work hard, over time your martial arts will improve. And I've been doing martial arts for over 50 years, and I still train. I'm still going to the gym. I'm a little bit weak, but I'll get my strength back, and I'll try to figure out how to be a better martial artist. So what I learned from Bruce Lee is when I was young, I know that he trained very, very hard. So again, I would train 5, 6, 7 hours a day, all through my childhood, all through my middle school, all through my high school. When I was in my 20s and my 30s, I've been training all my life. It's just something I really, really enjoy. And again, I owe Bruce Lee a lot to that. And on weekends in Chinatown, I would go and get Bruce Lee memorial stuff, and I would bring it back home. So I have thousands, literally thousands of Bruce Lee memorabilia. He's that important for me, and I even teach a class called Bruce Lee Cinema, and I teach Kung Fu Cinema. So Bruce Lee is, for me, the person because he cultivated a way of reading, cultivated a way of thinking, cultivated a way of being mindful and being aware of your surroundings. Bruce Lee gained a lot of respect in America because he said, if it doesn't work, don't use it. He didn't think any martial art is better than another martial art. So Bruce Lee was always about test yourself, test your skills. Are you really who you think you are? Do you really understand what's going on in your world? So that's why I like Bruce Lee, because all the questions that he asked, he was a critical thinker. And so what I want you to do to take away today is go watch a Bruce Lee film, but more importantly, be kind to yourself, be kind to people, be compassionate to people. And through mindful breathing, you too can fight stress, and hopefully it will help you in whatever endeavor you have. Thank you very much.